You ever have one of those days where you just know someone's about to test your patience? Well, I didn't know mine was going to end with a tow truck, reversing karma in the most glorious way possible. It started with Karen, the self-proclaimed queen of the HOA, and in her eyes, my trailer was the kingdom's biggest disgrace. It was a quiet Saturday morning. Birds were chirping, coffee was brewing, and I was just tightening the latch on my travel trailer. A shiny silver beast that had carried me through 3 states. It was parked neatly in my driveway, not bothering a soul. But Karen saw it differently. I heard her heels before I saw her. Click, 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 marching like she was on her way to a courtroom drama. "Excuse me," she barked, waving a clipboard like a weapon. "You can't park that thing here. It ruins the neighborhood aesthetic." I took a sip of coffee, calm as could be. "Morning to you too, Karen," I said. "It's my driveway." She glared like I'd insulted her ancestors. "Our bylaws state that no trailers may be visible from the street." "I'll have it towed if you don't move it today." Now, I'd read those HOA bylaws, and she was half right. But she conveniently forgot the part about temporary parking allowed for 72 hours. So I smiled and said, "Actually, I've got 2 more days." You'd think I told her I was building a junkyard. She stomped off, muttering about standards and lazy rule breakers. I thought that was the end of it. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. 2 hours later, I was inside when I heard the unmistakable growl of a diesel engine outside. I peeked through the blinds and froze. A tow truck. Karen was standing next to it, arms crossed, smug as a cat who found the cream. The driver was walking around my trailer looking confused, checking plates. I hurried outside. "Whoa, whoa, what's going on here?" I asked. Karen smirked. "You didn't listen." So I made a call. The tow driver frowned. "Ma'am," he said to her, "this vehicle's registered to this address. You sure this is the one?" "Oh, yes," she said, snapping her fingers. "Hook it up!" The driver shrugged, muttered something under his breath, and that's when the universe decided it was finally my turn for a little poetic justice. The driver, his name tag said Mike, looked between me, Karen, and the trailer like he'd walked straight into a soap opera. He scratched his head, then checked his clipboard again. "So, you're saying this trailer is violating HOA policy?" he asked. Karen puffed up her chest. "Exactly. I'm the neighborhood compliance officer," she declared proudly. Even though that wasn't an official title, she just gave it to herself. "I've already reported it." "Just tow it and be done." Mike raised an eyebrow. "Got any paperwork authorizing that?" Karen blinked. "Paperwork? I am the paperwork." That made me laugh. Probably not the smartest move, because her head snapped toward me like a vulture spotting prey. "You think this is funny?" she hissed. "Honestly," I said, "a little." Mike sighed. "All right, look, I can't just tow something off private property without documentation. HOA complaints don't count as legal orders." Karen's face turned tomato red. "I'll handle this myself," she snapped, pulling out her phone. "I'll have the HOA president call you." Now, this was where things started to shift. Mike leaned on his truck, waiting. But while Karen was too busy yelling into her phone, he wandered over to her driveway, right across the street from mine. He stopped dead. Then he chuckled. Ma'am?" he called out. "This your white SUV?" Karen looked over, phone still in hand. "Yes, why?" Mike smirked. "You might want to know, it's illegally parked in front of a fire hydrant. City code violation, not HOA stuff." Her eyes widened. "What? No, it's fine. It's just for a minute." He shrugged. "Minute or not, I already ran the plates while I was here. Got an active ticket on this one, too. Technically, I can tow it." I swear I saw the color drain from her face. "You wouldn't dare," she whispered. Mike cracked his knuckles. "Lady, you called me here. I go where the tickets are." Before she could argue, he flipped on the truck's winch, the metal cable whirring. Karen's precious SUV rocked as the hook latched onto its front axle. The same smug smile she'd worn minutes earlier now stretched across my face. She screamed. "No, stop! That's my car!" Mike just shrugged again. Tell it to city code enforcement. As he started lifting her SUV onto the bed, Karen lost it, jumping, waving her arms, threatening lawsuits. I leaned against my trailer, coffee in hand, and said, "Guess we both learned something today, huh?" The best part? The neighbors started coming out. Phones recording, laughter spreading like wildfire. The HOA queen was finally dethroned. If there's one thing I've learned living under Karen's rule, it's this. When she starts losing control, she always calls for backup. And this time, backup meant the police. As Mike finished securing her SUV to the flatbed, Karen was pacing back and forth on her lawn, red-faced and yelling into her phone. "Yes, officer. He's conspiring with the tow truck driver. They're stealing my vehicle. Hurry!" Mike just looked at me and muttered, "You can't make this stuff up." Within 10 minutes, 2 police cruisers rolled into the cul-de-sac, lights flashing, sirens whooping just long enough to draw every last neighbor out onto their porch. Cameras were already out. You could feel the anticipation in the air. Everyone wanted to see how far Karen would dig her own grave. The first officer stepped out, calm and professional. "All right, what's going on here?" Karen charged forward like a lawyer in a courtroom drama. "Officer, arrest them both. They tried to tow my car out of pure revenge." The officer looked at Mike. "You the driver?" "Yep," Mike said, flashing his ID. "Got a city authorization on file. Her vehicle's in violation. Parked in front of a fire hydrant. Ran the plate myself. It's legit." Karen froze. That's not true. It was barely in front of the hydrant." The officer walked over, checked the hydrant, and whistled. "Ma'am, your bumper's practically kissing it." "That's a clear violation. Can't have that in case of emergencies." Karen's jaw dropped. "You're taking his side?" "Ma'am," the officer said evenly, "it's not about sides. It's about the law." You could almost hear the collective ooh from the neighbors watching. Karen's voice cracked as she pointed at me. "This is his fault. He's behind this. He made this happen." I held my hands up. "Karen, I didn't do anything except stand here and enjoy the show." The second officer approached me, keeping it light. "You own that trailer?" "Yep, parked it according to HOA policy. Still got 2 days left on my 72-hour window." He nodded. "You're fine." Karen looked like she might actually implode. "You can't let him get away with this." Mike crossed his arms, trying not to grin. "Ma'am, how about I unhook your car once you pay the city fine and the release fee?" Karen sputtered. I'll call my lawyer." The officer smirked. "Go ahead, ma'am. But right now, your car's legally towed." She stomped her foot, fuming, as the neighbors whispered and filmed every second. You could practically feel her reputation crumbling in real time. And just when I thought the day couldn't get any better, Mike leaned over and whispered something that made me nearly spit out my coffee. Mike leaned close and said quietly, "You know what's funny? This isn't even the first time she's called a tow truck on someone for no reason. I've been here before." I blinked. "Wait, seriously?" He nodded, grinning. "Last summer. Tried to have her neighbor's boat towed. Same story, same attitude. Only difference? That time, she ended up getting her husband's car towed by mistake. I almost lost it right there. The woman was a walking karma magnet. Meanwhile, Karen was still on her phone, trying to sound composed even as her voice cracked. "Yes, I'm still waiting for someone from the HOA board to arrive. This is an outrage." Enjoying these wild HOA stories? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next round of Karen Chaos. If this tow truck twist made your day, drop a like and tell me in the comments what you would be done if your neighbor tried to pull this stunt.